That come from you, and allow it to permeate our minds, our bodies, and our spirits. And with that in mind, we ask for inspiration for our friend Renato and guidance from our mentors and protection from our Master Jesus as we ask permission to open our spiritual Sunday this morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much.
Thank you, Anicio. Well, welcome all. I will start my talk today telling you about a movie I just recently saw. The name of the movie is called The Old Warrior. And at the beginning, I didn't understand what it was all about, where it shows a 4 people, 3 men and a woman. They go to this place. Supposedly, they were hired to liberate about 18 little girls that they were kidnapped for certain people. So they go into the place and they start looking for the girls inside. But before they go into the place, there's some kids' shoes outside there, like pointing out that the kids that were there. So they go in there, and there was no children. But it was a setup for them because all of a sudden, all these people, heavy armed, they killed the 4 of them with machine guns. So they go to the floor, and they're dead. So the assassins, they start gathering in the back, kind of celebrating that they killed them all, because they're supposed to be very hard to kill. But the fact of the matter is that all of a sudden, they automatically, their wounds, they start healing, and they come back alive again. So that's when I called my attention, because they wake up and eventually they fight back and kill all of the soldiers that they were there, and they come out alive again. Supposedly they're immortals, that they will be, whatever they do, if somebody shoots them on the head, they go to the ground, they heal up again automatically, and they come back alive. So I start thinking about us as a spiritual beings. Don't that happen to us too? We leave the flesh. Yes, we're supposed to die, but then we go back. Our spirit continue living forever. And that's a good news. So if we all start thinking about that, it might change our perspective of who we are. We are immortal spirits. At this particular moment, we're living inside of a body. But eventually, that will happen to us. And people that they say, if I have an enemy, and they think that killing me will be the end of me or their problems, It's the other way around, because when they also will, eventually they will die, we will see one another again. And what happened to us? Hopefully, being back in the spiritual realm, we will heal up our impurities, and then we'll come back again in the flesh, and we'll start another cycle. And this keeps going on. It's been keeping us on, and we call reincarnation. So I think it's a great news that we have been created eternal beings. So then I don't have to worry. If I think about that, then I don't have to worry about too many things that's happening to me right now, because I still can come back and continue my purification, because that's the purpose for us to be in this planet at this time. Obviously, when we go back to the spiritual realm, we will have different ministries or chambers that there exist there. The first one is the regeneration chamber. So we need to go there and correct a little bit those defects that we still carry back into the spiritual realm. We go to, probably after that, the chamber of purification to get a little bit better. But I guess first, if we're that bad enough, we might be in the umbral, which is the suffering place. Then we also have this other chamber, that is the elucidation, where we gather more information about who we really are, what it's all about in the spiritual realm, and so forth and so on. Another one is the chamber of reincarnation, where we can plan ahead for our next trip, our next task on the planet inside of another body. There's also another chamber that I was happy to hear about, that the chamber of communication, where you can make arrangements in order for you to communicate with those that they're still living in the flesh. And why am I telling you all these things that are good news for us? Is because that is the subject for today's speaking. That's a big word for me today. That is called compassion. And we can say it very easy, but it means a lot of things. I'm referring to this movie and to all these things that I'm telling you because our Creator, God, He has so much compassion for us that He even sent us His begotten Son to teach us the way back to Him. And Jesus, per se, speaking, He taught us, He said, I am the light of the world. Where it's not really a big beam of light that is He's sending us, but it also means that light can be also taken as a knowledge. He's teaching us. He came to teach us. He came to teach. He came to love, and He came to serve. And he is the greatest compassion that they can be, because he even went so far to give his own life in order for us to live forever. Because his words are, he says, whoever believes in me will live forever, will never die, he will live forever. So that's a biggest gesture of compassion for us. I know this life in the flesh is not really that simple or that easy. We experience hunger, cold, pain, bad neighbors, you name it. But at the end, my friends, I think we get a lot of help. We have a lot of tools that we can use. One passage that always is in my mind is when Jesus Christ told us, "Come unto me, all of you that are labored and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Isn't that beautiful? Even though we're so struggling with our daily lives, that most of the time we forget that divine assistance is there for us. When we are in a sorrow state, instead of us looking up for help, we always look down and there's nothing there but more suffering. But there, up there, is light. There is light there that can help us out. And talking about compassion, compassion is a sibling of charity, which with those two things can draw us nearer to God, both. As a matter of fact, the spirits tell us flat, you don't have to offer any more sacrifices. The greatest sacrifice, Jesus has done it for you. All you need to do is love one another as I love you. Love your neighbor as yourself. In other words, Jesus is teaching us, be compassionate. Don't let those that you can detect or sense that they're in trouble, don't hesitate to stop by and see how you can be or how you can render a helping hand to them. And believe me, my friends, there's a lot of people out there in the world that they do need help. They need our help. I mean, let's say you are unable to walk, or you have not too many economic resources, but you have a spirit. You have a caring heart for other people. The easiest way to help them out is by sending a good vibrations to that person in need via a prayer. And a prayer doesn't have to be words that they're already written in a book and just read them. No, it's just something that comes to you, to your heart, to your mind, and good vibrations to them. That will be a good starting point without any big effort on our part. We have things that we need to consider, which, on the other hand, we have rage, or we have hate to others instead of being compassionate. Remember that Jesus, he always stopped by and helped those in need. And good thing that we are part of that, of his creation, of God's creation, that inside we already carry a compassionate heart for others. The only thing we have to do is just take in consideration ourselves, and in a way we can put ourselves on the other people's shoes to see how it feels like to be in need of something. And I have a strong belief that compassion for others is one of the main steps that Jesus taught us. And loving one another is one of those steps that we have to take, they say, in a leap of faith. It is not difficult to be compassionate. It's just willing to render a helping hand to others. I found out that sometimes my way to show that I care for somebody else is I just see the person, greet the person, and then give that person a hug. If they allow me to do so. If not, just from a distance, I just send a good vibrations to them. Since we were born as a children, we were born with a lot of needs. But thank goodness, Jesus, with his compassionate heart, sent us beings that they care for us. I remember that I do have a stepson, and then reading to the spiritual things, I found out that what we call a stepson is not really a stepson. It is my son. Don't forget that we have lived before, right? And who knows what debts we have made in the past. That right now we're trying to get rid of those debts that we obtained in the past. So this is not the first time we're here on the flesh in this planet as we study. And we have a lot of things to prove that. One of those is mediumship, where we can communicate with those that they're already in the spiritual realm. And we need to be compassionate to them because they need the light of Jesus in their hearts as well, because they're just wondering what has happened to them. A great majority of those in the spiritual realm, they do not know yet that they're already dead. So the first thing is for them to give them what they call, in the spiritually speaking, a glass of water. A glass of water doesn't mean you go there and get a candle and light them up in front of a photograph on that corner and flowers and all that. A glass of water for them really means that to offer a sincere prayer to them. That's more beneficial for them rather than just a candle that you light up there and you forget about the whole day. To keep them in your prayers when you meditate. Now we have a double shift or double thing to do, because we not only have to be compassionate with those that they're in the flesh, but also those that they have no more flesh, for those spirits that they're suffering. Talking about yesterday with one of the adult missionaries in my church, I told them that in my church we do work and compassion for both sides of the veil. And no other church has that service. We do baptisms for the dead, confirmations for the dead in the temple, because we have temples for that. And you have to be worthy to get in there and do those ordinances. And I guess for some people this might be new, because they don't know that that exists. I think most of you, they can recognize a building that is in La Jolla by Freeway 5. It's a white building that is on the right-hand side if you're heading north. Yes. Okay. That is temple from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And that's where we do those ordinances. So, me knowing Spiritism and doing those type of ordinances there, that means we're doing the work, because we have good resources in our church that can be provided by the same church. You can track back your ancestors. You do your genealogy. You find records of your ancestors there. I remember one day I did the ordinance for someone that was from the 1600s. So could you believe that the Spirit waiting that long for someone to come and do the ordinance for so long? Because on that time, Christianity was not that popular at all. They couldn't have the resource of the Bible that we can get access. My phone, I can just go there and see all the scriptures. But back then, that was not available for them. But now we do have the opportunity to help them out if we go to the temple and do the ordinances for there. That's why I call my attention of this church. Just having the fact that I could track records. For instance, my mom, we didn't have her birth certificate because the registry department that the records that were kept got burnt some time ago. So we didn't know when my mom was born. We were thinking that, her birthday was this day or that day, but to make long story short, I saw the original record through our church. Now I know that my mother was not only, her name was Maria, but it's Maria Juventina, and then we saw the exact date of her birthday. Isn't that amazing? And anybody can have access to those records. So what we do, we pull the records and we go parents, grandparents, great-grandparents and all that. As long as we can go back to those records. And then we pull up their name and we go to the temple and do the ordinance there for them. And believe me, it's a great feeling when we do the ordinance for them that we can feel their presence there. of our ancestors. It is very emotional, brothers or sisters, that we do that ordinance for them. They cried because they feel the presence of someone that you loved. And it's so beautiful because, it's your family. As we all are really family. Some way or another, we all came from the same source. That's why Jesus asked us to love one another, because we are the same family, regardless. Our appearance, our physical appearance, it doesn't matter, really. Because we're going to change it just like changing your outfit today. Then your next incarnation, then you have a different outfit. But you yourself, your spirit, is exactly the same. So it's great news for everybody that will make us realize that our way of thinking that we are eternal, that doesn't mean that we have to suffer that much for those that they depart from us, or they have departed from us, because we know for a fact that we're going to see one another again. And chances are that all of you we probably have met in the past. No questions about that. So let's practice charity. Let's practice to be compassionate to others without any sacrifices, without doing any special things. I remember that when I was a kid, I started looking at the people that there's a big Catholic church in Mexico City, that the people they will move from one point to the church on their knees. And that is about, probably, I would say, about 4 miles far. It is not necessary to do that anymore. No more sacrifices, because Jesus, He shows, He did already the big sacrifice for us. All we need to do is just love one another, be compassionate, and look upstairs for help. And grateful for knowing that I'm going to be living forever, and I can start working now on my purification and continue doing that, so I can have more light that comes from above. My friends, I share these thoughts in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.